Hey everybody, good morning. Joel Rico here with the Language of Agreement and a weekly tip. Hopefully it's something that you can put into play right away. So if you're in sales like me, we've all experienced somebody saying, "Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll list my house with you in June, and as soon as I get my taxes done, I'm going to list that property with you. Or as soon as my kid goes off to college, I'll call you and we'll buy something for them." And then it doesn't happen. So, how do we better manage this? If somebody says they're going to do something, they don't always do it, right? It's kind of human nature. So is there anything that we can do that will increase the probability that other people, follow up, that they be their word? So how do we help boost their accountability and hold them accountable in a way that's supportive? And I don't want to get them in a headlock and force them, and they're not going to sign a contract 6 months before something happens. So how is it that we can increase the odds of that actually happening? Well, like most things, the power is in the questions. So if somebody says in 60 days I'm gonna buy a rental, or in 60 days I'm gonna list my house, and don't worry, I'm gonna call you. Instead of saying, "Okay, great, that'll be fantastic," and then you call them every 3 weeks and bug them, and that may or may not be helpful. So instead of that, instead of bugging them, instead of being the one to drive it, instead of being a pest, what if instead we raise the level of accountability right now in the beginning? So there's a process. I'm going to teach you the really, really short version right now. There's a process called future pacing. That means I'm just going to pace what's going to happen in the future. And if they say, "Hey, in 6 months, I'm gonna sell that house as soon as my 24 months of capital gains exemption comes up, that's going to happen in October. As soon as I'm available to sell that house tax-free, I'll call you and we'll sell it." But how do you know that they're going to call you, right? Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they meet somebody else. Sometimes they're just saying that. So my task for today is, how do we increase the odds that that promise gets from them to you gets fulfilled? So as always, the power is in the questions. So I'm going to ask right then. If they say, "Hey, in October, when my capital gains 2 years capital gains exemption is due, I'm going to list that house with you." Right then, right immediately when they make the commitment, I'm going to jump in and say, "Wow, that's really sweet of you. I really appreciate the vote of confidence. Thank you for making that commitment to me. Thank you for promising that listing to me in advance." And then here's the power. I'm going to say, "I'm curious, why is it that you're willing to make this commitment to me 4 months in advance, 6 months in advance?" And then whoosh, be quiet. And what I want here is, I want their reason. I want my realtor for a long time, and you helped me here and you helped me there, and you've been great, and I trust you, and whatever their reasons are. Great, now I know. So I just did two things. One, I turned their casual, yeah, I'll list it with you in 6 months. I turned that into, "Hey, why are you making me this promise right now? I really appreciate it. Why are you making this commitment to me so early?" So I turned their casual comment into a commitment by relabeling it. Then I said, "Why are you doing that? What's inspiring you to make this promise?" Now I'm getting their rationale for saying that. So do you think just that solidifies it in their mind? Yeah, well, here's why. Here's why I made that promise. So now, I'm causing them to think through their process. So then I'm going to turn up the gas a little bit, and I'm going to say, "Wow, I really appreciate your trust in me, and that you're willing to do that, blah, blah, blah." Now I'm going to give them another reason. I might say, "Could it also be this reason? Could it also be because we went through this whole protocol, and when you get your capital gains money out of that house, we went through this protocol of you can buy a replacement house and a rental property, and we're really going to get serious in growing your portfolio. Could it be that you're excited about growing that portfolio, and the program that I laid out to you to help you retire early, could it be that that's really driving?" Yeah, it could be that too. right? So I'm giving them other reasons to support their promise. Okay, and then the last step, I might give them 2 of those reasons, maybe. And then the last step is I'm going to question their commitment. I might say, what if something gets in the way? What if your wife says, hey, so-and-so at the office just got licensed. Let's list with her. What if some other realtor says, hey, I'll do it for you and I'll cut the fee by a point? What are you going to tell them? And I'm going to put them on the spot right there. And they're going to say, oh, well, I'd tell them, it's this protocol that I have with Joel Rico and this blah, 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 and this whole retirement program and my lifetime worth of real estate portfolio investing. That's not worth saving a point to me. That guy's already saved me more than a point. That's what I'm going to tell him. So what just happened? I got them to increase their loose comment into a commitment. I got them to give me their rationale, their reasons for that commitment. I fed them another reason or 2 on why they should keep their commitment. And I literally had them role play how to overcome the objection if something else gets in the way. Then I'm going to say, I really, really appreciate that. I know that's not until October. I'm going to follow up with you in maybe August, September, and we'll talk about getting the house staged and prepped and anything that we need to do to really maximize your return. And I'm looking forward to helping you turn that house into a pile of cash. All right. So that's the process. It's called the future pacing process. This is one of many, many, many examples that we use in the language of agreement. Remember, you are a professional communicator. You just happen to be communicating about sales, and most of you is real estate. And our job really is to communicate ideas in such a way that people understand you and you understand them and things get accomplished and that people feel good about working with you. This is one tool to help people keep their commitment, right? And it's nothing personal, right? People say things and don't really mean them and don't follow up on them all the time. Nothing's 100%. This turns the odds way, way, way up that their commitment actually comes to fruition. So if you haven't been there, please go check out the site, thelanguageofagreement.com. There's some free videos, some free trainings, some free downloads, some free stuff. And if this was remotely helpful, consider jumping into the next 12-week live training protocol. It's all done on the phone. You can dial in from wherever you are. You will learn this and many, many, many other techniques on how to get your ideas across, how to close, how to overcome objections, literally how to solve any communication problem in the sales arena. So that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. I hope this made a difference for you. And as usual, go make a difference in the world this week. Take care, everybody.